Hello everybody, welcome back to my dungeon. Having some fun this morning, just doing some light warm-ups before I go sparring later today. And I wanted to follow up the front kick tutorials. So, before I showed you the front leg kick. Now that's great because it's super fast and strong, long range. It's like basically a good jab. And now the equivalent of a cross would be the same thing, the teep, but with your back leg. A little bit stronger, a little bit slower, but it might even get you a little more range too. So it's important that you know how to teep with both legs so you can use whichever leg is appropriate for the current situation, whatever fight scenario that may be. So first thing I'm going to do is show you this kick, then I'll tell you about how awesome this kick is, and then I'll tell you how to learn it as well. So just some hits for now. Look, if I die in this shed because this ceiling collapses, make sure you tell them it's because I was kicking this bag. Bring down the house. So now I'm gonna brag about this kick as planned because, as you can see, it's got serious potential. The one that I threw at the end there, the southpaw rear leg front kick, so with my left leg, that is probably in the top 3 strongest shots I have. The top 3 strongest shots I can throw that I have. I'm gonna leave that in because I just think it was kind of funny. And this kick I've only ever landed successfully once in a fight, but I don't throw it very often either. But when I threw it, it was when I had practiced it and my front kicks were looking like this, and it actually just completely blew him over, flew him backwards like 3 or 4 steps. Now, of course, if this guy's watching this, no offense, but man, that was one of the coolest feelings I ever had. Literally just boom, like this is Sparta. It's sick. Now, unfortunately, at the time this is made, my last 3 fights have been taken off of Street Beefs. Not just mine, but a bunch of other people's, so I don't actually have the clip that I could just put in here of me doing that front kick then. Nor could I just give you the link to the Street Beefs fight because it's no longer there, but I'm told it will be back up in time, and I sure hope so. Because I really put my soul into that last one, and I'm so excited for you guys to see it. But what I mean to say is that this can have ridiculous power. Seriously, I guess you saw for yourself. So now I'll stop bragging about it because I believe you get the message, how I feel about this kick. Now I'll tell you how I get it so strong. If you ask me, this is one of the easiest kicks to get powerful because it gives you lots of opportunities to get momentum. And well, most people can probably just kick straight out much easier than they can get their elastic force and torque going for a solid roundhouse kick. So I would say a teep is probably easier than a roundhouse for most people, but who knows. Now, I recommend that you've already watched the front leg tutorial, because then you'll be a step ahead here. You'll already know what I'm about to say, but I want to repeat all basic front kick technique and then also specifically how it applies to the right leg here. So the best way that I can think of it is picking up your knee, though maybe the leg stays straight sometimes, but that's what I think about is from the back, pick up the knee, and that's the first step, and that's the step to good power and speed, is to focus on the knee and not throw the kick. Think, pick up the knee, so that you can extend outward. And also you got to make sure you pick up your knee first, so you throw this at your opponent's midsection, not what should not be hit. Cup check. You pick the knee up, and if you got a bag, you could even just start with that. Just pick your knee up and touch. Pick the knee up, touch. I mean, that's the simplest way to do it. Like, before you lift heavy weights, you should lift light weights. Before you throw hard shots, you should throw light shots. Just understand how the mechanics work a little bit. Now, it's not so much leg work. I give this speech every time I talk about striking. Your leg isn't really actually doing that much work. It's pretty much the hips that take all of this one. And this one's great because the way I picture getting power for this kick, or the way you want to use it, is picture if you wanted to kick down a door. That this is a door. And you want to kick it so hard that the door falls flat down and you just step through and land on top of it. That's the kind of like step through motion that you're going to use to get power for this kick. But the power also does come from two things, same as the front kick from the front leg. The extension of the knee itself generates power, though requires more energy and not as much power as a result of the work. But also, most of the power comes from your leaning back. Not a lot, but you lean back kind of to set like your hips up properly. See, if you stand perfectly straight up here, and you try to keep your legs straight and lift it up, it's actually very difficult to get it high enough to where you can hold it. Now when you lean back, much easier to get up top. So it helps you with aiming as well as getting the power. Right, so think about that step through power. That's how you get it. But you want to pick up your knee, extend your leg, lean back. Think about just making a wall hit a wall, or I don't know, like a hammer hitting a wall. I guess that makes sense. And last piece of advice before I just throw it some more, and then anything I can think of I'll add on. When you hit the target, you don't want to hit flat-footed. You don't want to hit with your heel. And you certainly don't want to hit with your toes. What you want to do is point your foot outward, so you can, so the ball of the foot is the farthest thing out. You should touch like this. That's how you get the most power into your kick. I gave the same exact speech in my other tutorial, so I'm gonna give it now. I really should look up the formula for pressure because I come up with this so often, but it's along the lines of force divided by area. Yes, that's right. So if you have a kick, that's a set amount of force. Now it's spread out among this area, has a certain pressure yield, but if you condense the area that it's spread around, that's a more concentrated force. And that's what the effect of kicking with the ball of the foot does. The impact isn't as spread out. It has puncture potential. I guess that's what I mean. Armor piercing, if that makes sense. Like, this will go straight into your opponent's organs, man. But if you hit him flat-footed, you'll just push him. Maybe knock the breath out of him, and that is effective, but like, you throw this kick right, it has the potential to be lethal. I'll throw some more now. Just not straight. Ah, yes. And actually, I'll kick with the other side before I say this, because this is my my glory side as well. It's about a lash, just full extension as fast as you can, but you want to be a solid force when you hit. Actually, I'm so glad I thought of this, because I didn't say it in my other tutorial. So now, if you've watched both of these tutorials, you got the complete knowledge loop. Or actually just this video, because I said most of the same things in the last one. Whatever. It's about how you hit the target itself. And it's the same exact philosophy that your punches would use. I'm going to use my leg anyway, though. So you want to make sure you hit the range right, that you hit at full extension. Now, I will say actually be careful throwing your front kick super, super hard. And if you're really far away, you might actually overextend your knee and then hit. I've like jammed at my knees a little bit, maybe doing some front kicks, but never had any serious problems. Nonetheless, be careful. It's something you can feel when you start, especially when you got this heavy ass bag swinging back and forth and it's a lot of force, so be careful. If you kick with the ball of the foot, as I was saying before though, that should keep you pretty safe no matter what happens. But when you hit a bag, like you don't want to hit, for example, if it's a jab, you don't want a jab at this range or front kick at this range because there's no extension, you get literally no power. You kind of have to modify the shot, like to maybe turn your shoulder back if it's one of those straight punches that you want to throw. But you want to get your distancing right such that you don't push the bag, you smack it. Sting the target. That's what you want to think of. You want contact with the bag to be minimal. Like, generate all this force and touch the bag, and it should fly. That's real mastery of striking. Less impact you can give yourself while sending this thing flying, the better. So I guess I'll just say what I mean now. You don't want to push the bag. That is, I guess it's thorough. You want to whip the strike and then boom, send it in the direction that you mean to. So all in all though, the best way to make sure you have power on your front kick is to make sure that when you hit you have full extension. So that's extension in as many joints as you can control. Starting all the way from your foot, but as to your shoulders for a punch. There's an extension not only of the knee and the foot, but like I said, as many as you can get up. Think of it as unfolding, like you have a baton that has unfolding layers, kind of like how toy lightsabers are. Like you fold it out and one layer at a time, it unwinds until it's at full extension. That is perfect striking. A series of perfectly timed transfers of power from joint to joint. So when it comes to power, speed, you want to make sure it's smooth more than anything. Go as slow as you need to make the attack smooth. You can work up speed once you get good at it. But when it starts off, that's fine. Just see what you can do cleanly. Master the cleanliness, not the force. Because once you understand the effect of good mechanics is, you'll be able to throw a lot more kicks, get a lot more power, and then you'll start working on the actual strength of kicking itself. Focus on the foundation, full extension. I would say the same thing to anybody who's lifting weights. When you're getting started, start light, start with good form. Make that base layer solid before you start trying to do more than you can manage. Same thing here. Develop the skill so you can build it up. The more you practice, the stronger you get. The better your technique is, the more you can do. So, homies, that's about it for this one. Keep training. Stay tuned for more tutorials. And I don't know, tell me a cool life story in the comments or something. If you watch to the end of this, I'll listen to it. Alright people, peace. Rear leg, teep kick, awesome power. You can throw it pretty quickly. It's very long range. It's a reliable stall weapon, I suppose, but also lethal potential. Peace.